What's going on, everyone? I'm just at home hanging out with my little son, and I've been thinking about some content I can give you guys. I've just been kind of thinking about what it means to be a father, what it means to give life to someone else and create a new, living organism in this world we live in. It's a really interesting, amazing, magical thing, and the more I think about it, the more I ask myself, what is the most important thing I could pass on to my son? What is the most valuable thing that can be taught? And I think for me, it all comes down to self-image and self-esteem. I know a lot of people are concerned about their child talking, their child walking, their child picking up all of these skills. But the more I think about it, I can only have one concern, and that is, how is my son's self-esteem going to be? How is he going to see himself? Who is he going to see when he looks in the mirror? Because to me, that is the bottom line. That nothing else matters if you don't see a great person in the mirror, if you don't see someone amazing, if you don't feel amazing, nothing else matters. I don't care how well you can write. I don't care how talented you are or whatever. If you don't see yourself as great, it's almost game over. And I think the most important thing I can do for my son is instill in him self-esteem and proper self-image. I know my parents did the best they could, but unfortunately for me, when I was growing up, self-esteem was not instilled in me. Self-doubt, being overly critical of myself, those things were instilled in me. And I don't know if it was anyone else's fault, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled. And on my last video, I know you guys heard me talk about being a construction laborer, how I got out of that, how you get a raise in construction. Well, I watched my video again, and I watched the video and where I said I had been a laborer for 10 years. I was like, wow, that kind of stung. How was I digging dirt with a shovel in my hand, basically running my ass off, working my ass off between 10 and 14 hours a day in the sun? How was I doing that for so long without really without making any significant upgrades? And it all comes down to my self-image. I had very poor self-talk, I had poor self-esteem, and I had poor self-image. And as a result of that, I settled for less than what I deserved. I settled for a scarcity mindset. I have another video on this channel called Abundance is Our Birthright. And you can't have abundance, you cannot manifest abundance in your life without proper self-image. So I want my son to live an abundant life. I want my son to prosper. I don't want my son to live paycheck to paycheck. I want my son to be able to provide for himself and also provide for others. Because when you're a parent and you're raising a son, you're raising a child, it's easy to get exhausted, it's easy to almost feel overwhelmed at times, but for me, the way I stay out of that is I just realize, wait a minute, this child I'm raising has the potential to change the world we live in. All it takes is one person, all it takes is one man in the right place at the right time to change everything. Think about the Savior, Jesus Christ, how he was the right man at the right time, in the right place, and he literally changed everything. He changed the whole world. So it's just, you got to think about potential. You got to think about the bigger picture. And let's circle back into the meaning of this video. I think the most important thing in life is self-esteem. I can't think of anything more important than who you see in the mirror. What do you identify with? Who do you see in the mirror? Because once you get clear on your value, your worth and your value, I think that's when your life purpose shows up. You're able to live a more driven, purposeful, guided life. So I feel like I'm kind of behind the game. It's in some point because I'm just now starting to get my self-esteem intact. I'm just now starting to see my own worth and value, but it took me a long time to get here. And the main thing I want to pass on to my son is self-esteem, seeing greatness, seeing potential, knowing that you are a creation of God, knowing that you are a divine spark. I want my son to know that and feel that and know that it's true. Because to me, nothing else matters. I don't care if you can talk. I don't care if you can write. I don't care if you can walk. None of that matters if you don't see greatness. You don't feel greatness. You don't feel abundance. Because if you feel greatness, then that vibrates out of you, and everyone else around you can feel that. So it has kind of a ripple effect. So I guess that's my main piece of parenting advice I can give. After having a child for a little over a year, if I were to give a new dad or a new parent any kind of advice, as far as what I've learned, is the most important thing you can do for your child is instill in them self-esteem. Thank you.